Okay, folks, so I apologize for my disheveled appearance, but I'm going to do an example for you of the Proust questionnaire real quick. It's the example that I've got up on the week one for you. So, okay, let's go ahead and I'll just show you kind of how to do a Proust questionnaire and kind of what I'm expecting. I've got actually the paper on the computer right here, but you can hold the paper out if you want to print it out, that's fine. So we'll go ahead and I'll do this for you guys real quick. So here's my 10 questions for the Proust questionnaire. There's 12 on there, but I'll just do the first 10. Number one, when and where were you happiest? I'm happiest when I'm running. I'm actually happiest when I'm with my family, but you hear about them in a minute. So I do run quite a bit, not quite as much as I'd like after having kids, but I used to run 5-6 miles a day, about 5 or 6 days a week, and just kind of zone out, listen to music, be in my own space. Great way to stay in shape and lessen stress, and I've been doing it for a while. So I always enjoy running, and hopefully I'll get back to it really soon. What words or phrase do you most overuse? I actually have two kids. One is 6 and one is 1. No is actually what I use the most. So I tell my 6-year-old, no, can I have an extra piece of candy? No. And with my 1-year-old, it's no, 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 because he's always trying to grab something or jump off a couch or something like that. So I've got 2 more on the way. So I think no is a word I'm going to use a lot. So that's number 2. What's the trait I most deplore in others? Anyone that has children and doesn't take care of them. So I always wanted kids, and having them kind of later in life was a pleasant surprise. So, but anyone that has children and just doesn't support them, it's not there for them emotionally, as a parent, financially, certainly. So that's a huge thing with me. I don't quite understand anyone that could do that. But that's number 3. Number 4, my favorite journey was a huge hiking trip that I took. Back in 1997, I went by myself and I covered multiple states and went hundreds of miles, and it was the best experience of my life. I just kind of went and started hiking in Georgia, and then all the way up in Maine. It took me 6 months. So it was the greatest thing that I've ever done, and just spiritually and physically demanding, and it really changed my life. Number 4, my favorite names. I'm going to change it up a little bit. Sarah's my wife. Julian is my 1-year-old, Roman is my 6-year-old, and I have 2 on the way, and we're naming them Finnegan, and we're going to nickname him Iggy, and then Lottie is my daughter-to-be. So those are my favorite names, just nothing too original, just my wife and my kids are my favorite names. What word or phrase do I live by? Don't punch down just means I like to think you're not going to use your power or your authority to hurt someone who doesn't have that power, whether that's physically, hurting your children, or you have an employee or a student that you're using your power to do something negative to them. You always use your power for something good. And if you have to do something negative or fight somebody in some way, you always want to punch up as somebody that has the power to fight back, is kind of the way I would look at it. What do you most value in your friends? Don't really have time for friends right now because I'm so busy, but usually friends, when they come over, or at a party or something like that, kind of know when it's time to go home. You see somebody washing dishes and kind of getting ready and cleaning up for the night, and they're still hanging around and still talking, and they want one more drink or whatever. But when it's time to go home, it's time to go home. And I appreciate friends that kind of know that subtly and just kind of say goodnight and then they're on their way. All right. Number 8, the most overrated virtue. I love extroversion. I love extroverted people. I teach public speaking for a living, but I grew up an introvert, and I think that gets a bad rap. People that are kind of quiet to themselves, they're perceived negatively, and I just think that's just a reflection of how much we value extroversion as opposed to introversion, and there's nothing wrong with being an introvert. I'm still an introvert in a lot of ways, and so is my wife, and it's a positive trait, I think. My greatest extravagance is books. I've got hundreds and hundreds of books. See if I can turn some over here. There's some of my books there, just a few of them. I got a lot more downstairs, but I probably got close to 1,000 books in the house, and I'm kind of old school that way. I could put them all on an e-reader, but I don't want to do that. And I think having a house surrounded with books is great just for you and for your kids, and very beneficial. And I just love collecting books and reading them. What's my favorite word? My least favorite word? My favorite word I put is morning star. It could be a password on some of my computers. But it sounds really pleasant. It's actually an old medieval weapon. that people used to use to fight with, and it's got a chain and a ball in the end. I think it's kind of a cool word. My least favorite word is literally, because people use it all the time. They don't need it in a sentence. People say like, "Oh God, it's literally raining outside." It's not literally raining outside. If it's raining, it's just raining. So I think literally is the most overused word that you don't need. Okay, so that's an example of the Proust questionnaire. Again, so practice it a few times. You're just elaborating and adding information to each one of the sentences. So again, you can take a look at the example that I put up under week 1, and you just kind of want to present it that way. And then you just want to record yourself pretty much the same way. You can have somebody hold it, obviously, and you can hold the paper out so you're not looking at the computer. But that's the way that you want to do it. So hopefully that helped. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.